I didn't bother standing when the sheriff stepped out of his cruiser and asked which one of us owned the ranch. I simply handed him the folded document I'd been holding for the past 20 minutes, a state-recorded dissolution notice from the county clerk's office. Karen, the self-proclaimed HOA president, froze mid-sentence. She had been loudly insisting I was trespassing on association property, which happened to be my own 38-acre ranch. The sheriff read the document twice, lifted his sunglasses, and gave her the look of a man realizing he'd been dragged into a painfully stupid situation. "Ma'am," he said slowly, "this HOA doesn't legally exist anymore." Her mouth stayed open, but no words came out. I finally spoke quiet, flat, surgical. "I filed the dissolution myself, about an hour ago." And that was the exact moment she realized she wasn't in charge of anything anymore. I hadn't moved to that ranch for drama. I bought it 2 years earlier for one reason: silence. The kind of silence that lives in your chest. Wind in the hayfields, distant irrigation pumps, nothing else. After years in the city, neighbors on every wall, constant noise, I wanted land and sky and a place where my dog, Daisy, could run without crossing anyone's property line. The ranch came with an old red barn, a gravel driveway, and sunsets that looked like slow-motion scenes from a film. There was an HOA listed in the title folder, but the realtor waved it away. "Inactive," she said. "Hasn't operated in more than a decade." That should have been the end of it. But nothing stays dead when certain people want power. 3 months after moving in, I found a bright orange envelope taped crookedly to my gate. Inside was a fine for $250, an authorized livestock presence. The livestock was Daisy, my 70-pound dog, relaxing on the porch. The letter was signed, Karen, acting HOA president. Acting as in self-appointed. I honestly thought it was a prank. The second letter wasn't amusing. A $500 fine for illegal road usage, referring to my own gravel driveway, recorded on my deed. Attached was a handwritten note: "As new HOA leadership, we are reinstating all association authority effective immediately." That was when disbelief replaced humor. I tried diplomacy. I emailed Karen and politely explained that the HOA had legally gone inactive 12 years ago. State law required elections, dues notices, and recorded bylaws to revive it, all of which were non-existent. I even sent county records showing no officers on file. She replied with a single line: "I know what's best for this community." And then her campaign began. Mysterious violation slips, threats of liens, notes about restricting my livestock, claims that she intended to gate the main road despite it being county-owned. She even held a board meeting in her living room, attended only by herself, her husband, and her sister. They still claimed a unanimous board vote. When I calmly read state statute requiring a quorum of actual property owners, she smirked. "Well," she said, "good luck stopping us." That was the moment I stopped arguing and started reading. The first thing I dug up was the original 1998 subdivision plat. It revealed something crucial. The HOA was developer-controlled and automatically dissolved after 7 years of inactivity unless renewed by a 2/3 homeowner petition. No petition had ever been filed. No dues, meetings, or leadership in more than a decade. Legally, the OA had died in 2009, which meant Karen wasn't president of anything. Archive searches at the county clerk's office confirmed it. Not a single filed document supported her sudden authority. My driveway was a recorded private access easement. The livestock rules existed nowhere in any version of the abandoned bylaws. So I built a binder-thick, organized, highlighted. Every letter she sent, every threat, meeting audio recordings, photos of her fake violation notices, screenshots of statutes, copies of maps, the dissolution clause. Night after night I sat at my kitchen table while Daisy slept at my feet. Neighbors grew distant, wary of crossing Karen. I won't pretend I wasn't stressed, I was exhausted. Sleep didn't come easily. But stress eventually turned into something quieter, heavier, and sharper: resolve. Karen finally crossed the line when she filed a police complaint accusing me of trespassing on association-owned land. Except there was no association. Filing false property claims? That's an actual criminal issue in my state. So I prepared one last packet. A formal petition signed by 14 neighbors, quiet people, just like me, requesting the county permanently dissolve the HO under the inactivity clause. The county clerk accepted it, stamped it, and thanked me for cleaning up the paperwork. And that was how I ended up waiting on my gravel driveway with the dissolution document in hand when Karen called the cops on me. The sheriff read it, looked at her, and said words that should have been carved into stone. This HO is dissolved. Every fine, every notice, it's all void. Her sister quietly slipped behind their car. Her husband stared at the dirt like it might swallow him. And Karen just stood there as her imaginary kingdom disintegrated around her. The sheriff nodded at me. "You're free to go about your day, sir." I already had been. Within a week, the neighborhood group chats exploded. People had no idea that I'd been dead for years. A few apologized to me in private. Most avoided eye contact at the gas station. The HOA mailbox disappeared. The fake notices stopped. The road stayed open. Peace settled over the ranch like dust after a storm. Karen sent one last email resigning from her position, a position no one had given her in the first place. The county mailed official confirmation that the HOA was dissolved and could not be reformed without a 90% vote. That vote will never happen. Daisy runs freely through the fields again. Sunsets feel slow and cinematic like they used to. The only paperwork on my table now is feed receipts and tax statements. I didn't want to fight, I never do. But I learned something important living out here. Quiet people aren't weak, we're just patient. And patience terrifies bullies more than anything.